Hello everyone. It's Inspi Madame Prothi here once again, all the way from Prothi Studios, and I'm right here to answer a lot of questions that most of you have been asking me. Well, there aren't a lot of questions. Perhaps I might say they're similar. Most of you have been asking me on what inspired me to start my very own life experience show. Uhalisia wa maisha yangu. On my side, this has been something that has been received warmly, and I'm grateful for that. I'm very, very, very grateful. Well, I'm very delighted to answer you that question calmly. But before all, I'd just like to address this very short message to you all. First thing, God has taught me something. I've learned a very huge lesson in my life, that sometimes problems come as influences to perform bigger things. Well, you might not understand what I'm trying to say right now, but just after listening this short story of what inspired me to start my very own life experience show, you come to understand me that sometimes God brings us problems so as to make us be fit for something better, or let those problems stand as influences for us to perform something better. Well, it wasn't in my plan to start such a show, but this thing just erupted in 1 week in my mind, and I decided to perform it just as it was going through my mind. Well, what actually influenced me to start such a show is a bit short but long story. Here it goes. Actually, I remember it was last week's Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, and what happened is this. I've been trying to hide a lot of feelings in my heart, and one of those feelings is that there are moments when I fail. Yes, I must agree, no one doesn't pass through failure. I fail and I pretend to be happy, I pretend to be alright, I pretend not to care at all. But actually, down deep in my heart, this thing affects me very much. It affects my psychology, it affects everything about me, it affects my mental health. Well, I just received my examination, and actually, I didn't perform well. And it was really, really bad. And what happened is this. I tried to show that I'm happy, but I couldn't. My eyes were soaked with tears, and I tried to hide that from my classmates, from my friends, from people around me by showing that I'm still okay. But I was deeply hurt. And you know what happened? I couldn't handle it anymore in my heart. I started crying. But crying while wiping the tears so that no one could see that. But that pain down deep, one thing about me, every time I'm trying to lose the pain I have, every time I want to comfort myself, I write. That's all. I don't speak to anybody. I don't tell anyone what I'm passing through. I'm just trying to put that happy face. So I write. The paper is my friend. Okay, so what happened with this? I just took a paper and I started writing things and stuff like, I want to quit the motivational speaking thing. Well, I know it is really surprising, but I just decided that because I saw, okay, I'm motivating people to study. I'm motivating people not to give up, not to quit, not to be disappointed by how they fail, no matter how many times they fall down. But actually, I'm not motivated by things I do. I tell people not to give up while I easily give up. I tell people not to get disappointed by how many times they fail while I get disappointed. And not just disappointed, very, very, very disappointed. So I wrote a lot of things, and somebody noticed that and asked me for that paper, but I didn't give it to her. Well, I just erased my tears and I tried to show the happy face while I wasn't happy, actually. And what happened is this. I tried to learn things that motivational speakers only speak when they're in good mood. But what about when they're in bad mood? Do they know what people are passing through? Well, you can't encourage somebody in a sad state. Actually, I'm a living example. If somebody would have come and started motivating me or perhaps encouraging me at that state when I was, man, I couldn't understand at all. I thought about quitting the thing, but luckily, the morning next day, everything cooled down. And you know what happened in my life? I learned one thing. There are a lot of people out there who need to be motivated not by words but by hearing what others are passing through so that they can also change. And I was a living example. So I wake up in the morning and I start reading the paper I wrote last night. It had a lot of stuff like I want to quit motivating things, and I want to quit my blog, I want to quit school, I want to quit everything that I've just started. I want to quit my whole progress. And I learned something in life. After such hurt and after such disappointment, a thought came in my mind. What if I start a show where I'll be telling people about people's life, about people's story, and how they can change themselves? And actually, it worked out. You know what? In case you don't know, that first story of whoever named Lucy Wilbur, that's actually me. It's me, actually. Well, there are places I've tried editing, but it's actually me. Well, I'm not actually sure of myself, but I'm pretty sure that God is taking me somewhere. If it hadn't been the day that I had failed, I had not gotten that thought of starting this thing, my very own life experience. And you know what? It actually worked. Many people love this show, but they don't know what is behind it. They just don't know the background behind it. And you know what? I know God is working by His own way. And so let me tell you something. This is the living proof and an example that God brings us problems as ladders to the next level. I'm still actually very disappointed, yes, by my results, but it doesn't affect me anymore. I know God is taking me somewhere. So please, anytime you're passing through anything that is tough to you, just remember these words. God is working by His own way. You understand me? You might never know what God is planning for your future. Well, and I noticed something. What if God is trying to give me all these obstacles just because they need to complete my story? They are part of my story. What if I only pass through a successful path and I became a greatest motivational speaker. How can I motivate people while I haven't passed through such a hard time? God is trying to reinvent my life story. God is trying to complete my life story so that I can tell people the reality and I can know what they're passing through that time. And I noticed such thing. So please, never blame yourself for whatever you're passing through. Okay, I understand my results are not that good this time, and there are moments when I think of quitting school and running away from home, running away from school, but I know one thing: God is taking me somewhere. Yeah. I hope your question is well answered, and I hope, and it's my relief that right now I'm giving out the burden I'm having inside, and I hope that you have received this from the deepest part of your lives and your hearts and your souls and your spirits. I hope all your questions are very well answered. So that's the background behind the My Very Own Life Experience show. That's it. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening, you all, and taking your time for it.